Welcome to The Functional Esthetician, a podcast where skin health meets whole body wellness. I'm Samantha Dench, a licensed esthetician, owner of Skin Deep Aesthetics, author, and a doctor of functional medicine. My mission is to help you see the bigger picture because healthy skin starts from within. In each episode, we'll explore the gut-skin axis, hormones, nutrition, skincare, and wellness tools you can use to transform your skin. Welcome to the Functional Esthetician Podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Dench. Today's special guest is Kay Miller, the Harmony Coach. We are going to talk about how women always push through, balance, burnout, how to live in harmony, and make simple mindset changes to find your why and learn how to take control of your life. Before we get to today's interview, let me introduce Kay. Kay Miller, the Harmony Coach, helps exhausted women restore energy, ease, joy, and clarity by living in sync with their natural rhythms. Through her signature Harmony Principle framework, she's changing how women heal themselves and their families without overwhelm, extremes, or self-betrayal. Kay Miller is trained in mental fitness, holistic health, genetics, human design, and more. A homeschooling mother of 5 and a serial entrepreneur, she guides high-performing women through a customized healing process that helps them restore energy, clarity, and joy by living. Her signature approach, the Harmony Principle, began with a single pause that transformed her health without extremes. Kay is on a mission to create generational health by helping women stop fighting their biology and start flowing with it. Her work supports simple, sustainable shifts in nourishment, stress, and self-perception that naturally ripple into homes, relationships, and children's futures. Women who heal with her parent more intentionally, lead clearly, and raise healthier, happier families. Known for her intuitive insight and science-backed tools, Kay helps women reconnect with their natural rhythms and remember that harmony is health. Hi, Kay. Welcome to the Functional Esthetician Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Samantha. I'm so excited for this conversation.
Same here. I'm going to have you start by introducing yourself. Tell us how you got started and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, so I am a multi-passionate serial entrepreneur, mother of 5, homeschooler, world traveler, and I feel like I was pretty tired most of my life. Like my mom even called me a lazy baby. But it got really bad at one point, and it was just spiraling to the point where I felt like I was going in and out of consciousness. I was in bed almost all day, barely dragging myself to the bathroom or to get something to drink. And at this point, I had been to a ton of doctors. I had decided that I probably had a thyroid problem. They told me I didn't. I was always getting your labs are fine every time I went to the doctor, so I quit going to the doctor. But then my dear sweet husband was like, enough is enough. And he decided to find one more doctor for me. And she was an amazing oncologist. And she wound up testing me for everything she could think of and decided that I had an iron deficiency. And that changed the course of everything for me because I was like, great, I have a diagnosis, I have a solution. And she was like, you're so iron deficient, I would put you in the hospital right now if you were pregnant and put you on iron IVs. But since you're not, you'll just come in each week and get these iron IVs. And so I started doing that. But towards the end of the week, Samantha, I was drained again. I was falling off the cliff again. And I was like, this is a Band-Aid. So that's when I went deeper down the rabbit hole of research on health and wellness, found functional medicine, decided I wanted to go into health coaching to help other women, did get diagnosed with a thyroid problem finally, and then eventually SIBO. And so that, along with some other stories that we can get into later, led us to where I am today as the Harmony Coach.
That's amazing. And I feel like you're the typical poster child of women. As a functional medicine doctor, have the same thing. Women come to me, they're like, my doctor said my labs are normal, but I don't feel fine. I feel like that is like textbook classic case of, oh, let's check one little marker.
Yes, it definitely is. And I was like, if I'm suffering this, there's got to be so many other women that are suffering it. And that was one of the reasons I did decide to study and learn more. I did health coaching courses. I did gut courses. I did genetics courses. I just kept stacking it all on to find out as much about how our bodies actually work as I could.
It's fascinating, isn't it, when you
It
start
is.
digging?
It definitely
Yeah.
is. And the funny part is I thought I was healthy all along because I come from
Right?
brown rice and whole wheat bread kind of family. Like my mom was really, really healthy. She fed us really well. And I felt like I carried those things into adulthood. And then also at some point I stumbled upon MLMs and learned about the toxins in our cleaning products and our baby care. And so I had all those things, all those boxes were checked off.
I feel like a lot of moms do that too. You start learning about something and then you start making better choices. You're like, great, I am healthy. But then you also don't take into consideration all the environmental toxins, all the pollutants, the glyphosate, the pesticides that they spray on our foods. It is just so toxic and harmful. And a lot of that I feel like is an underlying factor. You could be doing everything right as a mom and you're still getting exposed to toxins. You're still not doing it, quote unquote, healthy.
I had done all those things once I was having more and more problems and just getting more and more exhausted. We tried everything. I went organic. I went gluten-free. We did paleo. We went vegetarian. We went vegan, no oil, Samantha. We
Wow.
tried
You were
all of
like
the things.
extreme.
Yes, I was extreme. So that's why I feel like I come from a good place to talk to others about what the options are and what's actually moving the needle and finding what
Yeah.
works for them.
I love that. And you're a harmony coach, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about that. What does harmony look like?
Yes. So harmony looks like not doing all this biohacking and pushing through and just trying to figure it all out by hustling harder. It's about slowing down, relaxing, meditating, taking some time to actually de-stress because those are the things that actually moved the needle for me finally. Like I said, I went to that functional medicine doctor and he was like, your hormones are this and that, and we can put you on HRT and it'll be great. And I was like, I actually want to do it naturally. He was so surprised. His whole face lit
Yeah.
up. He's like, okay, well, then you need to do this, do that. Because I was going to the gym 2 times a day trying to lose the baby fat. And it wasn't budging. Going to the gym 2 times a day, going to the sauna. And I was like, actually, no, sit down. Sit down and do nothing for a few days, a couple weeks. Let your body reset. Get that cortisol reaction to slow down and to stop because that's what's holding on to the weight. And a lot of us, it's antithetical. It's not something that you think of like, maybe I should stop working out. Who says that? So as a harmony coach, what I found out after years of experience and working with other clients and then traveling overseas while trying to work with clients in the US, how important certain things are as far as our natural rhythms and our natural cycles. And that's where the harmony comes in, making sure that you're getting your daytime sunlight, making sure that you're eating at an appropriate time for you. And these type of little things that move the needle so far that we don't think about.
I love what you said. And I want to go back for a second because you were talking about the 2 times a day workout, the restrictive eating. And I feel like all women do that. You know, it's like, oh, I'm gaining weight because of my hormones. So I should just take this HRT. I'm going to restrict my diet and eat like 1,000 calories a day. And then I'm going to work out extra hard. And I do the same thing with my patients. I'm like, stop. Don't work out crazy. Just walk or just stretch. And they look at me like I'm speaking another language.
Yeah, you suddenly become an alien. They're like, are you for real? Are you
Yeah.
serious right now?
Walk?
Walking is not going to do anything. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that a lot, especially because my husband has been an athlete his whole life. So he
Okay.
works out every day almost without fail. He's got that bodybuilder physique, like naturally, like that's what he does. And so when I told him I'm going to sit on the couch and I'm going to walk, and he's like, what are you, old? What are you, geriatric? What's going on? We just got to trust the process and see what happens.
And I think for men, they can get away with it because their hormone structure is so different. But for women, not only do our hormones decrease in perimenopause, but we have this high cortisol due to stress.
Yes, and exactly. The man's hormonal cycle is actually on a 24-hour cycle. So it works well for them. Everything that we set up in society, work days and all of those kind of things are strictly geared towards them. I honestly believe that we need like a woman work schedule.
Yeah.
And that if you can, if you're an entrepreneurial woman, you should probably make one. Start paying attention to your hormonal cycle. That's another part of the harmony that I work with my clients on. Start paying attention to your cycle. When are you at your best? When do you perform in front of others and with others socially best? When do you need to have that away time where you can do things that are on your own, quiet, solitary, not really having to work with other people, take those breaks instead of being in the meetings, being on the podcast, doing the summits, all of those kind of things, because we have more of a 28-day cycle versus 24 hours. That is a big difference, Samantha. And I don't think people realize it.
And I love what you said about working around your cycle, because I feel like in the middle of my cycle, I'm super productive. And actually, that's when I try to record all my social media content. I try to do as much as I can in that time, because that last week, especially for me, I'm mentally drained. And I feel like some days it's hard to even just sit in front of my computer, or I'll sit there and I'm like, I can't think right now.
Exactly. And we're not being productive. We're just spinning our wheels. And the other cycle that we work on is usually your daily cycle throughout the day. We have like these 90-minute or so increments where we're on. We can focus for 90 minutes. But then you should actually take a break. But who does that? We're on an 8-hour schedule. We got to work 8 hours. No, take a break every 90 minutes. Get up, walk around, go do something else. Let your brain refresh, reboot, and then get back to it. And you'll realize that you'll get so much more done if you do that than trying to just push through. Yeah, those are the things.
I didn't even think about the 90-minute cycle.
Yeah, most people don't. Most people aren't even aware that it exists. So we just were like, oh, I feel drained, I feel tired, but I have to finish this project. But I have to do this. But I have to make dinner. But I have to, all these have-tos. And we just keep pushing, and it's just not as productive as we could be if we actually listened to our bodies. Our bodies aren't just telling us things for fun.
I like to call it the whisper. Your body whispers to you. It's like, hey, you need to pay attention to me. And then I feel like if we don't listen to it, then it starts screaming at us. And that's when we get sick or we start showing symptoms.
Exactly. And I remember when I was younger that I used to wonder why when you go to the aisle to get your feminine products, they'd have chocolate there. And I would try to figure it out. I kept doing research and I could never figure it out. But one day I stumbled upon this article that talked about cravings. And it was like, when you crave this, eat this instead. When you crave this, eat this instead. And it was like magnesium was one of the things that we need during our periods. And we're craving that. And we think chocolate. But you could eat, I think it was like spinach instead. So if you're trying to lose weight, eat spinach during your period instead of chocolate. Maybe. You'll get the same effect. It might not be as tasty, but maybe just a little less chocolate. But I just always thought that was so weird. I'm like, how do these people know? How do they know? Like, they've just paid attention to what we're buying, but they didn't understand the actual physiological reason why women crave chocolate during our periods.
And I didn't even realize that either. Magnesium, it's a depleted mineral in almost everybody.
Yeah, and we just lose more of it when we're bleeding. It's just another symptom of what's happening. And our bodies are telling us, hey, I need magnesium. And we're going, okay, let's go get some chocolate. And then you feel bad. You're like, I just ate this whole chocolate bar or this chocolate ice cream. And then you're beating yourself up. And it's like, you don't have to do that. Like, know your body needs things and try and give it the things it needs.
I want to shift gears a little bit. I want to talk about burnout in women, because I feel like that is a huge topic.
Yes, yes. And that burnout, like I said, comes from that pushing, just pushing through, trying to do everything. And a lot of people are talking now, what is it, about matrescence and talking about the mental load of motherhood and the lack of sleep and all of those things. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much everything that we're doing as mothers when we first birth a child leads to the depression and the burnout. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
It's the sad part.
No, it's true. But I feel like when you're young, you can push through. You know, you can just think to yourself, oh, I'm tired. I'm just exhausted. It's because I'm a new mom, and you just push through. But then after you get into that perimenopause phase and your hormones start to decrease, your body's like, nope, we're done.
Yeah. When we're younger, we definitely think we can push through. And we physically do. We mentally do. But there's a price to pay for that. And like you said, as we get older and our hormones are changing, it's even harder to push through. But if we weren't raised in a society where we think we have to push through, imagine what that would look like. Imagine what that would do for moms, for families. Because do you really want to have a mom that's worn out and exhausted and pushing through? Or would you rather have a mom that's resourced, that's confident, that's fulfilled, that's fed, that's nourished? Imagine how much more she can show up for herself, her children, her spouse if she has one. And so that's kind of the reason why I love working with moms. And I've been trying to reach more young moms to help them understand their bodies and what's going on, and to get that support if they can. And I love on the internet, I've been seeing so many more men now that are starting to understand cycles and what women are going through, and to become so much more supportive. And that's what we need. And from what I see in other countries, it looks like in a lot of other countries, they do have that support system around the young mom, but not in America.
It's so true. And I feel like a lot of women feel like they have to do it all themselves.
You have to wake up and do all those feedings and do all the diaper changes and do all of the scheduling of everybody, remembering everybody's allergies, everybody's preferences, everybody's everything. And it's like, where did we get to this point? I remember seeing a really good skit once. I think it was a doctor that did it. I can't remember if he was a dentist or what kind of doctor, but he was like asking the male patient these simple basic questions about himself, and he didn't know the answers, and he had to call his wife, like, do I have allergies? Really? You're like 50 years old. Why don't you know if you have allergies?
But I feel like men have been conditioned to rely on women too.
Yes, they have. And I think that at one time in history, it may have worked. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I would say it may have worked previously when women weren't in the workforce. But now women are in the workforce, so you're expected to spend as much time outside of the home as the man. You're doing your 8-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour, whatever shifts, sometimes taking that work home. And you're meant to take care of the children, clean the house, carry that mental load, schedule all the appointments, get everybody to their after school. It's too much. It's too much for one human. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I think we need to dial that back as much as we can and start splitting things a little more and just finding out better ways to do that. If you do have other family and friends around, which I was lucky when I had my first few kids that I had my grandma, I had my mom, I had people that were able to help out because I was going to school full-time, working full-time, and raising 2 little girls. It was crazy. It was a crazy time in the beginning, and then later on going to be more of a stay-at-home or work-at-home mom, and that was a different experience altogether because then we moved away from family. So then it was just us, and he's at work all day, and it's just me and these kids trying to push through. And so, yeah, that's a totally different experience.
When my kids were little, I was a stay-at-home mom too, but I'm divorced now, so I'm a single mom, so it literally all falls on my shoulders. So, yeah, I understand the heavy workload, the nonstop scheduling, just everything.
Exactly. And that's one of the other things that I feel I can truly understand is the differences of both sides, the single motherhood, the stay-at-home motherhood, the working mom. Like, I've been all of them. I've done them all. So sometimes you'll have people, oh, you don't understand. Yeah, actually, I do. Been there.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's like you have to be in their shoes sometimes to really, truly understand what someone's going through.
Exactly. And I think that's important to the human experience because I don't know what it feels like to be a man.
Right.
I don't think I ever will. I can't explain that. I can't express that. I can't help them with that. But I know what it's like to be a mom. All kinds of moms. And so talking to moms is where I feel comfortable and like I understand. And I've seen it all.
When women know what to do, because there's information everywhere, we can go online, we can research this, we know what to do. How do you help your clients actually follow through?
Yes, that is the most important part, right? Knowing and doing are 2 different things. So helping my clients follow through really starts with mindset. And so I walk them through some mental fitness training that really helps with getting over some of the ways that we sabotage ourselves. Are you a procrastinator? Are you an overthinker? Are you a people pleaser? Are you this high achiever that you have to do everything perfectly and do it yourself? Like there's so many different ways that we sabotage ourselves. The number one way, according to the training that I went through, was judging. And it's either judging ourselves or judging others. And that's one that people don't think about because sometimes they're like, oh yeah, I don't judge myself, but are you judging others? And if you are, that's also affecting how you perform because you don't want to be judged the same way you're judging others. So taking women through the mental fitness training is one of the first places I start, really is with mindset and helping them understand how they're thinking and then putting things in place that can help them do the simple things that they might not be doing yet. So a lot of people know you need to drink more water. Simple. Not so simple. So things like, okay, make sure you have a water bottle wherever you're at all day at your desk. Making sure that you maybe wear a piece of jewelry or something that reminds you of your children or your goals. Like, why are you doing this? So we do these little anchors to help people remember, and then we also work on the mindset.
I feel like the mindset piece is so crucial because we don't realize how we hold ourselves back.
Yes, exactly. And I remember one of the first things that I had to do for myself was get a little sticky note and write, done is better than perfect. And I had it on my laptop for the longest time because I would procrastinate to the God's ends trying to get everything perfect. Had to be perfect. Can't put it out there if it's not perfect.
And I think overwhelm stops that too.
Definitely overwhelm can do that as well. Yeah, there's different ones. So you just have to find out what it is for you and then figure out how to walk yourself back from that.
If someone comes to you and they are struggling with some of these behaviors, what would be one of the first mindset shifts you make for them?
Yeah, one of the first ones. I think it's really just going to depend on what their mindset is doing. But generally, when I first speak with a client, the first thing that we talk about is, why do you want to change in the first place? Because the why, you can figure out almost any how if you have a why. So we start there. That is number one. And we just keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper until we get to what the real why is, which is what I like to say. Because a lot of people will be like, oh, yeah, I want to lose 20 pounds so I can look good in a bikini at the beach this week or next summer or whatever it is. And you're like, yeah, but why do you want to look good in a bikini? And you just keep digging deeper and deeper. And for a lot of people, we'll get to these really heartfelt reasons of acceptance, love, peace, freedom. And that's the true core. And once you can get down to your real reason why you're doing things, that changes everything.
So do you find talking to them helps, or do you find that if they journal or meditate, if somebody's trying to work on that, like what would be something that they could start doing, or what would be one of the most effective tools?
A lot of times that first conversation is enough, amazingly enough. But yes, journaling and meditation are definitely tools that you can use and that we do use as I go through the coaching program. But I remember having that conversation with one client and we found out the why. And she was saying that one thing she was struggling with was going out and getting ice cream, like I think it was every day or something, with her kid after school. And she really wanted to lose weight. And it's like, those don't go together. Ice cream every day, lose weight. They don't go together. And we did the whole thing about her why and finding that out and all the dreams and goals she had for herself, learning how to play the guitar, all this beautiful stuff. I don't remember if it was the next week or the second week when we spoke again. She was like, oh, by the way, I have to tell you, I haven't had ice cream since the first conversation we had. Haven't even thought about it. Wasn't even interested in going. And it's like things like that, like you don't realize what's going on in your brain and how you can just shift things in a second. It doesn't take all this long, drawn-out journaling and meditation and all that stuff that people think. Those things do help, and they can help you get deeper and depending on what the issue is, but things can change as soon as you're ready to change them.
And I feel like a lot of women, eating is very emotional for them.
It definitely is. Definitely. A lot of emotional eating. Comfort, memories. Like my mom used to give me this, or my grandma used to do this, and that's where you find your safety, your love, all those kind of things. So definitely.
And I feel like holidays, traditions, a lot of that is built around food.
Yeah, because again, that's comfort and love. That's what we see it as. This is what love feels like. This is comfort. This is what my family has always done. And it's like, but how is that supporting everyone else in your family? Are they dying from diabetes, cancer, heart disease? Because they say these things run in our family and that they're genetic, but they're not. Right. They may be in your genes. You might have something, but you can turn that switch on or off. That's up to you and what choices you make. So the bad habits are what run in your family. And you can stop those. And I remember having one of my dear grandmothers. She was older. She was in a wheelchair. She was heavy set. And she would just tell me, baby, don't do like me. I was like, okay, Grandma. I don't know why you're giving me this message right now, but sure. I'm like a teenager, don't care. I can eat whatever I want.
Exactly. Teenagers, forget it.
Yeah. But I totally understood her. Like, she was uncomfortable. She was not living the life she wanted to live. And I think that that's one thing that a lot of people forget. Sometimes people will say, oh, I'm going to live my life however I want to live it because I don't care about dying. But do you care about being miserable?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to die immediately. Most likely, if you're not living a healthy life, you're going to somehow get some kind of disease. It's going to take away from your quality of life. Yep. And then you may not be happy with what body you're left with and however long that lasts. So we need to think more about what is the quality of life we want to live rather than the quantity of life we want to live.
And most people just end up on medication. And once they start one, they end up snowballing into multiple medications. And then it does take over their life. It's so unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. You got this medicine for this thing that it was wrong with you. And then you got this medicine to help with that medicine.
Yep.
And then I'm just baffled so much. I don't watch regular TV very often, so I don't get commercials a lot. But lately we've been watching things, I think it was Amazon or something, where they have commercials in between. And it's just like the litany of side effects for each and every one of these drugs. I'm like, why are you taking a depression medicine that leads to depression and suicide?
Right.
I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around that when I've dealt with clients that came to me to lose weight and got off depression medication because they were eating better, because they were taking care of themselves, and that affected how their brains were functioning and the information and signals that were going through. Yeah. But why are we doing this to ourselves?
I know. The gut-brain connection is huge, and nobody puts two and two together.
Yes, that's really sad, and I wish more people did. And that was one of the things that happened that led me to the Harmony coaching, was that I had noticed this relationship between health and wellness and depression and stress, anxiety. And I was like, I wonder if I did this on purpose, like if I actually took a bunch of women that were depressed and worked with them, could we get rid of those symptoms and those issues? And I was overseas at the time. And so I took on these 6 lovely ladies that have been dealing with depression their whole life. Most of them were in their 40s, 50s, and older, but they trusted me. And they were lovely ladies. And we went through this 90-day coaching with them. And they were like, I've been in counseling for 12 years or whatever, and it didn't touch what we did in the last 90 days. And they all came out of there feeling amazing.
Wow.
I, however, was depleted because I had changed my schedule to meet their schedule in the United States while I was overseas. So I wasn't getting my morning sunlight. I wasn't getting proper rest as far as my circadian rhythm is concerned. And I didn't know it at the time because that wasn't something I had really studied before. So I'm like sitting there like, why do I feel so depleted? What did I do wrong? Because I'm a health coach. I've been doing all this stuff right for the last almost 10 years. And I think that was when red light therapy was like super popular. And so I kept reading and researching about red light therapy and blue light at night. And then I was like, wait a minute. Why are we buying these devices when there's sun outside for free? And so I started looking more into sunlight and what it does and how your exposure to sun in the morning sets your body up to produce the melatonin you need to go to sleep at night and all of these other things. And it just started snowballing and snowballing. And I remembered that when I was first having my problems with my energy and fixing them, one of the things I did was watch a video about adrenal fatigue. And the guy said to go to sleep at 9 o'clock, wake up at 5 a.m. And I was doing that, not knowing that, oh, I'm up at 5, so I'm opening the windows, I'm looking outside, I'm getting sunlight, I'm going outside, and all of these things. I didn't know the connection there that was happening at the time. I just did what I was told. So looking back, I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I need to get up in the morning. Maybe I can't work on a U.S. schedule. I need to do this. And then also all of the other things that I call the 5 pillars of free healthcare, because in the U.S. we're obsessed with free healthcare. So you've got your light, which is not just the sunlight, but, you know, how are you using lights in your house in the evening? Are you on your computer right before you go to bed, scrolling on your phone an hour before bed, right before you fall asleep, and then putting it down and going, why can't I sleep? I'm not getting good sleep. So your light diet, your hydration, which is more than just water, making sure that you are getting the right electrolytes and nutrients and things like that into your body throughout the day. Sleep, not just getting 8 hours, because it's not about the hours and the numbers, but when are you sleeping and what is the quality of that sleep? Is your body able to process and do all the things it needs to, or did you just eat an hour before you went to bed and now your body's working on digestion when it should be working on everything else? Movement, and that's not just, oh, you have to go to the gym and run. Like you said, walk. Get up and move around every hour if you're at a desk. Just getting more movement into your day. And then finally, nourishment, making sure that you're getting good quality food. A lot of us come from moms, and maybe even ourselves, that were raised on this low-fat diet in the U.S. And I feel like that has done more harm to the female population than anything else that we've done, because we need fat. ladies.
Yes.
We need it. So
Yes.
get some good quality, healthy fats into your diet. Eat an avocado, something. I don't care how you get it, but get it. Some olive oil drizzled on your salad. But making sure you're getting good proteins and fats and all of those things. So that's
Yeah.
part of my harmony, is getting in harmony with those things as well into your life.
I love all 5 of those. And it's funny you bring up fat because I feel like women are afraid of fat. And
Yes.
I put butter on everything. I cook with it. I actually make brown butter and I eat a spoonful of it every night before I go to bed. And then I even put it in my coffee because I feel like it's what helps us stay full longer.
Yeah, it does. It helps you stay full longer. It works for your brain. Your brain needs
Yep.
fat. So all of this
Yes.
depression and anxiety and all of that, eat some fat. That's all I have to
Yeah.
say about that. Like, start there. That might cure all your problems. No, I'm just kidding. We can't make any claims on what cures anything, but definitely
Right.
getting some fat into your body really helps with your brain function because our brains run on fat. It's
Yeah.
just,
And not to be afraid of it.
you can't imagine how many things you're wrecking your body with because of fear, because of
Right.
scarcity, because of the stress you're putting on your body, worrying about something that you don't even need to worry about. That's one
Yeah.
of the best things you can do if you can just remove fear,
Yep.
unnatural, unhealthy fear, I should say. Because, yeah, there's some real fears like, yeah, put on your seatbelt so that you don't die in a car accident. I mean, but don't stress over it. Keep
Right.
yourself healthy and safe. But there's some things that we worry about and fear, even subconsciously, that we really should release. We'd live better lives.
I want to ask you one more question before we close. What is one small shift that our listeners can start implementing today?
My favorite is the morning sunlight. If
Yep.
you're not already doing it, stop being afraid of sun. And I know you deal with skin, right?
I do.
You see these people walking around that have the hat on, they have on long sleeves, the long pants. You're not helping yourself. I mean, there's a time for that, of course. You don't want to just sit out in the afternoon sun and bake all day. Of course,
Right.
that's not good for you, but you do need sunlight in your life. So if the only thing that you can do to change what your habits are right now would be to go outside for maybe 5 to 10 minutes and just get some sunlight on your skin, into your eyes in the morning, that can be life-changing in and of itself. You really don't need to be out there that long, but at least start with that if you're not already doing it. If you're
Yeah.
going from home to office, office back home, and you're just not ever really interacting with the sun because you're in your car and you're like, the sun's blinding me, but the windows block out the helpful rays that you need. Even your screen, if you have a screen on your windows at home and you're opening up the doors, that screen also blocks out the sun. You literally need to be outside in the sun.
And it's funny, I have an esthetician background. And when I started studying functional medicine, I learned about vitamin D and how the sun is the number one way we can get vitamin D into our body. And the more I dug into it, the more I realized I've been telling people to protect their skin and hide from the sun. And I was the same way for many, many years. And now I've been embracing the sun. I actually go out without sunscreen. I don't wear sunscreen a lot. If I know I'm going to be outside for hours, like if I go to the beach or I'm at a pool, then yes, of course, because I don't want to get burned. But it's amazing how much that sun is so important for our body.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very important. And a lot of people think, oh, I can just take vitamin D supplements. Your body kind of can use some of it, but there's so many other things that we're getting from the sun that we don't even understand yet.
Right.
So, like I said, even that melatonin creation for later in the evening, you're not getting that from taking a vitamin D supplement.
Yeah. And morning sunlight truly is the best.
It's the best time to be out there if you can. For the gardeners and all those people, like, go out in the morning and do what you can. The surfers have it right. Get out there early in the morning and catch the waves. They're getting the salt water, they're grounding.
Yeah.
They're getting sunlight. They must be some of the healthiest, happiest people.
Kay, how can everybody find you?
Oh, yes, definitely. The easiest way to find me or reach me would be to go to my website, which is keymemeki.com. That's a hard one for people to say, but I always thought it was easy. Or another way you can find me is obviously kdm.com.
And I'll drop links in the show notes so they can click and connect with you there.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Thank you so much, Samantha. I love this conversation.
Is there anything else you want to leave our listeners with today?
Yes, harmony, not balance. A lot of women are chasing balance in life. We're trying to figure out how we can juggle all of these things and give enough attention to the kids, enough attention to the spouse, enough attention to the work. And it's like, just let it ebb and flow naturally as it should. Life is this harmonious masterpiece. A lot of times people will say, oh no, but there's balance to life. And it's like, yes, but no. Because they'll say the sun rises and sun sets and all these kind of things. And I'm like, but if you zoom out, you'll see that instead of the sun rising and the moon rising, what we're actually doing is we're all in this cyclical motion. We're going around the sun and we're all traveling through the universe. It's a harmony, not really this 50-50 balance or like a person on a tightrope trying to keep it all stable. None of us want to be there. So I would say stop chasing balance and start finding harmony.
I love that. And I do feel like we cause more stress by trying to live balance than living a balanced life.
Yeah, just live in tune with what's going on. Take those breaks. Stop trying to push through. And if anybody wants any help with these kinds of things, on my website, they do have a recharge guide that everyone can get. And if you like, I can give you a little bonus code that they can use to get it for free that you can put in your notes.
That'd be great. And I'll put that in the show notes too.
Awesome. That would be great.
Kay, thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening. Today we had on our special guest, Kay Miller. We talked about health, wellness, how to live in harmony, why women struggle with burnout, and why balance doesn't mean an optimal life, the 5 pillars of health, mindset shifts, and working to get to the root of your struggles. Please check the show notes to connect with Kay. The first 5 people to download her guide get a complimentary one-on-one recharge session with Kay. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday to episode 41. We will be talking about trauma, how to heal through trauma, tools you can use, and self-love. You don't want to miss this one. And always remember, you deserve to love the skin you're in. As estheticians, we have such a unique opportunity to not only care for the skin on the surface, but to guide our clients towards deeper wellness. If this episode gave you something to think about, share it with me on Instagram @SkinDeepIL. I look forward to connecting with you there. And if you enjoyed this conversation, subscribing and reviewing the podcast helps others find these conversations too. And always remember, you deserve to love the skin you're in.